they would like to have into your process?
Sure, we'd be glad to discuss that with them. Sure.
That would be great. Thank you very much. Ms. Quinliven, then Mr. Winburn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Murray, if I could ask you a couple questions too.
Sure.
And I apologize in advance if this is just extremely naive, but with everything that I've heard tonight and you've heard tonight from the community, it seems like a great majority of people would just like to see the whole thing go away. And I don't know what was the original justification that this project was needed, but have you ever in the history of the plans completely stopped on something when it's just no longer needed? It seems like once the wheels are in motion, it's just going to happen no matter what people say and do. That's sort of the feeling that I get listening. So I'd like to know what your history is and what the justification was for the big project in the first place.
Well, I would defer that to someone else, actually, because I was not involved in the Eastern Corridor from the beginning, but maybe Andy can help me with that answer.
Mr. Pflugman?
As we mentioned earlier, there was an MIS for this area, and actually the Eastern Corridor goes way back into the 1970s. And I think one gentleman mentioned about the generalized US 50. What it had is that in the MIS stage, they looked at the region, and we're talking Hamilton County, Claremont County, and Northern Kentucky as a region. And they were looking at the transportation demands of moving people and goods through this area. And during that MIS, it was proven that there is a large demand from the east side coming into the Cincinnati area. And right now, they're coming into the 275 Belt Loop, and primarily they're going down into Kentucky, coming back up in, through northern Kentucky. By implementing the Eastern Corridor as we have it today, can reduce the vehicle miles traveled on Interstate 275 through Kentucky by 1 million vehicle miles a day just by commuter traffic. And that was something that came through the environmental impact statement in the MIS. So it's a regional, it's not point specific. So that's the reason for the Eastern Corridor. And it is a regional multimodal program. So it's looking at more than just Madisonville or Red Bank. And so it's trying to address the regional issue here with transportation.
So I guess my question is to you then, has ODOT ever just stopped when something is no longer really necessary or wanted?
That's part of the process. As we go through the process, we determine what the need is, and then the purpose and need has to be proven. So as we go through the travel demand model, as we go through the whole Eastern Corridor, we're looking at supporting, or if there's non-support through our evaluations, our studies, then at that point we'll have to make a decision, is this really needed? If it's proven not, then we need, basically the decision is a no bill. We just leave it the way it is. But if we prove that there is a need, then we need the support of the community as well as the elected officials and everybody else to move forward with a needed project.
In the time frame that we're on now, when would that decision be made?
Well, with our one of the things that I think I've heard here is about the Eastern Corridor, and people think that segment 1 is the first one to go. Well, actually, it was just segments for numbering them, segment 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, segment 4 is going first right now. It was the interchange area out in the East Gate. We're designing that, and we're going to have that under construction hopefully here in the next 3 years. That one actually is further along. Segment 1 here is moving along just, because we have some money to move it forward. Segment 2, 3, that's lagging behind a little bit, and that may be coming forward soon too. So you hear more about the Eastern Corridor. But for segment 1, we should have some information available by this fall for the travel demand model, trying to forecast the traffic coming through, and what kind of alternatives that can address that and meet the purpose and need for the Eastern Corridor as a region, but also, understand and meet the concerns and the issues here in Madisonville.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bortz?